We will open the class with the reading from Dhammavada. This is the Bhikkhu Vagga, chapter 25, last but one chapter. Good is restraint in the eye, good is restraint in the ear, good is restraint in the nose, good is restraint in the tongue, good is restraint in deed, good is restraint in speech, good is restraint in mind, good is restraint in everything. The bhikkhu, restrained everywhere, is freed from all sorrow. Bhikkhu means a monk. He who is controlled in hand, foot, speech, and in the highest head, he who delights in meditation and is composed, he who is alone and contented, him they call a bhikkhu. That bhikkhu who is controlled in tongue, who speaks wisely, who is not puffed up, who explains the meaning and the text. Sweet indeed is his speech. That bhikkhu who dwells in the Dhamma, who delights in the Dhamma, who meditates on the Dhamma, who well remembers the Dhamma, does not fall away from the sublime Dhamma. Let him not despise what he has received, nor fear envying the gains of others. The bhikkhu who envies the gains of others does not attain concentration. Though a recipient of little, if a bhikkhu does not despise what he has received, even the gods praise him who is pure in livelihood and is not slothful. He who has no thought of I and mine, whatever towards mind and body, he who grieves not for what which he has not, he is indeed called a bhikkhu. The bhikkhu who abides in loving kindness, who is pleased with the Buddha's teaching, attains to that state of peace and happiness, the stilling of conditioned things. Empty this boat, O bhikkhu. Empty it by you, it will move swiftly, cutting off lust and hatred. To Nibbana you will thereby go. 5 cut off, 5 give up, 5 further cultivate. The bhikkhu who has gone beyond the 5 bonds is called a flood crosser. Meditate, O bhikkhu, be not heedless. Do not let your mind fall on sensual pleasures. Do not be careless and swallow a lead ball. As you burn, cry not, this is sorrow. There is no concentration to one who lacks wisdom, nor is there wisdom to whom who lacks concentration. In whom are both concentration and wisdom, he indeed is in the presence of Nibbana. The bhikkhu who has retired to a lonely abode, who has calmed his mind, who clearly perceives the doctrine, experiences a joy transcending that of man. Whenever he reflects on the rise and fall of the aggregates, he experiences joy and happiness. To the knowing ones, that joy and happiness is deathless. And this becomes the beginning here for a wise bhikkhu: self-control, contentment, restraint with regard to the fundamental moral code, association with beneficent and energetic friends whose livelihood is pure. Let him be cordial in his ways and refined in conduct. Thereby full of joy, he will make an end of ill. As the jasmine creeper sheds its withered flowers, even so, O bhikkhus, should you totally cast off lust and hatred. The bhikkhu who is calm in body, calm in speech, calm in mind, who is well composed, who has spewed out worldly things, is truly called a peaceful one. By self do you censure yourself, by self do you examine yourself. Self-guarded and mindful, O bhikkhu, you will live happily. Self indeed is the protector of self. Self indeed is one's refuge. Control therefore your own self as a merchant and noble steed. Full of joy, full of confidence in the Buddha's teaching, the bhikkhu will attain the peaceful state, the stilling of conditioned things, the bliss supreme. The bhikkhu who, while still young, devotes himself to the Buddha's teaching, illumines this world like the moon freed from a cloud. There was something about concentration in the reading. Whenever people hear the word concentration, they are afraid of it. They think concentration is new to them, or concentration is not for them, or concentration is a difficult thing to do. But do you know you have been doing concentration all your life? According to Abhidhamma, every type of consciousness, every arising of consciousness is accompanied by what we call the one-pointedness of mind or unification of mind, which is nothing but concentration. So every moment of consciousness, every arising of consciousness has together with it a certain amount of concentration. Sometimes the concentration may be so weak that it is almost imperceptible. But at other times, concentration will be very intense. So whatever you do with concentration. Things you do from the morning till night need some degree or some kind of concentration. Because without concentration, actually nothing can be done. And concentration can help people a lot. When you have concentration, you can see things clearly. You can have calm or peacefulness of mind, and you will be able to solve problems more effectively when you have concentration. And I recently read in the Reader's Digest that people can lower their blood pressure if they know what to concentrate on. So that means if you concentrate on things that give you peace, or that gives you joy or happiness, then you can lower your blood pressure. So concentration is not a new thing to people. Every day, everybody is doing one or the other kind of concentration. And I will tell you tonight what to do to develop concentration. First, let us see how the word concentration is defined in dictionaries. In the Webster Dictionary, the word concentrate is defined as to direct one's attention or thoughts. So according to this definition, whenever you direct your attention to any object, you direct your thoughts to any object, then that is concentration. So whatever you do, you direct your mind to that thing or to that work, and so there is concentration. And concentration is defined as the act or process of concentrating, especially close, undivided attention. This is intense concentration. Close and undivided attention. That means keeping your mind close to the object and not letting anything distract your mind. So that is concentration. According to this definition, to direct one's attention or thoughts and to have close and undivided attention, we find concentration everywhere in daily life. The moment you get up in the morning, you do things, and when you do things, you direct your mind to these. So you practice or you apply concentration. You wash your face, you change clothes, or you eat breakfast. Whatever you do, there is concentration. Sometimes it may be weak or small concentration, and sometimes it is intense concentration. And also at work, you do a lot of concentrating. When you write or when you do work, you need concentration, and without concentration, works cannot be done. And there are times when lack of concentration is not only unprofitable, but dangerous. For example, when you are driving, you have to concentrate on your driving. If you are distracted when driving, then you can run into an accident, and you can injure yourself. And also when working with heavy machinery, concentration is very important. One lack of concentration can cost you a finger or a hand. Many people have lost their parts of the body by not concentrating on what they are doing. And also when people work in the factory, in the factories at the conveyor belt, and they have to use a lot of concentration. So the belt is moving and the things are coming, and one has to concentrate on these things so that one does not miss doing whatever is to be done to these things. And also in the competition of athletes, the Olympics, they need a lot of concentration. Lack of concentration can cost them a victory, or cost them gold medals and others. Especially in gymnastics, they need a lot of concentration. During Olympics, sometimes I saw them doing somersaults on a bar. People that bar about 4 inches wide, and they jump on this and they landed on the bar, and they did not fall down. They need a lot of concentration. So in every walk of life, whatever people do, people need to have concentration. And this concentration is essential in meditation. Meditation itself is a combination of mindfulness, concentration, and understanding or the penetration into the nature of things. Without concentration, meditation is impossible. And this concentration must be backed up by effort and mindfulness. So you put forth effort to be mindful of the objects, and this mindfulness, supported by effort, can lead you to concentration, one-pointedness of mind. So, although concentration is required in everything you do, when you meditate, all the more you need concentration. And concentration is a word for the Pali word Samādhi. So when we practice meditation, we try to gain Samādhi. We try to get the one-pointedness of mind, or the unification of mind. And this Samādhi is defined in the books, especially in the Visuddhimagga, as placing the mind on the object evenly and rightly. Samādhi is composed of Sam, A and Di. A-Di. Di comes from Da, the root Da. So A is a prefix and Sam also is a prefix. The root Da means to hold, but here it is influenced by the A. So it means to place or to put or to center. And Sam here means evenly or rightly. So evenly or rightly placing the mind on one object is what is meant by Samādhi in Pali. So this definition goes a little deeper into the nature of concentration or Samādhi. According to Buddhist psychology, mind is composed of consciousness and mental factors. So when we say place the mind on the object, we mean place the consciousness and mental factors on the object. And when you place these on the object, you must place them evenly, not let them scatter. And you must place them rightly on the object. Rightly on the object means not being distracted to other objects. So when you keep your mind on the object, you keep the consciousness and the mental factors unified, and you keep them without being distracted. When you keep the consciousness and mental factors on the object unified and not being distracted, then you are practicing concentration. So keeping the mind, consciousness and its concomitants on one and the same object is concentration. As long as we try to keep our mind as long as it can on one and the same object, so that the mind becomes settled down, clear, so that it can lead to the seeing of the nature of things. It is like the particles of mud settling in water. Suppose you take a glass of water from a muddy stream. First the water is muddy, so you cannot see through it, or you cannot see clearly. And gradually the particles of mud settle down, and so the water becomes clear. Or you can see through the water, or you can see the water. In the same way, our minds are always contaminated by the mental defilements, which block the clear vision of things. Mental defilements of greed, hatred, illusion, pride, and so on. When these are cleared away from the mind, when mind is settled down on one and the same object, then we begin to see the true nature of things. We begin to see things as they are. That is why concentration is a prerequisite for penetration into the nature of things. When mind is concentrated, the understanding of things just come by itself. We don't have to worry about not understanding or not penetrating into the nature of things if we have concentration. And when we practice meditation, we try to cultivate and we try to develop concentration, which is Samādhi. And there are ways to develop or to cultivate concentration. These are given in the commentaries. So these ways are time-tested and taken from the actual personal experience of teachers of old. They gave us 11 ways to cultivate or to develop concentration. The first is cleanliness. When your body is not clean, it's not easy to get concentration. So personal cleanliness as well as the cleanliness of the place where you are in is important. With the dirty body, when you sit, you don't feel clean, you don't feel free, and so it interferes with your concentration. And if your clothes are dirty, or if your nails are long, if your hair are long, that interferes with your concentration. So the books say that if your nails are long, cut them. If your hairs are long, cut them. And if your robes are dirty, because they are written mostly for monks, if your robes are dirty, wash them and so on. And also the place where you practice meditation is important. It should be simple and it should not be messed up with things. If the room where you meditate is full of things scattered around, then you will find it difficult to get concentration. Therefore, cleanliness, personal cleanliness, and also the cleanliness of the place is one of the ways to get or to cultivate and to develop concentration. The second is the evenness of faculties. That means here to keep in balance the effort and concentration. We have different faculties working at the same time, but the most important are the two with regard to meditation, and they are the effort and concentration. Mostly we lack enough effort. We do not put forth enough effort because we are lazy. So when we lack enough effort, what happens is we fall asleep because we have too much of concentration then. We try to keep our mind on the object, and then we just let the effort off, and so what happens is we fall asleep or we feel sleepy. So effort should be balanced or kept up enough to keep concentration going on. If we do not put forth enough effort, then there is excess of concentration, and that excess of concentration makes us lose concentration. When there is excess of concentration, we just fall asleep, and so we lose concentration. So the second way to develop or to cultivate concentration is to keep effort and concentration in balance, to keep the evenness of this. And the third one given in the book is skill in taking up the sign of meditation. That means if it is a disc, casino disc, then you should make it so that it helps you to concentrate. It helps you to get concentration while looking at it and so on. Or you choose a favorable meditational object so that you get concentration easily. And the fourth is inciting mind on occasion. Sometimes we feel lazy. We do not want to meditate. And so when we do not want to meditate, we are lazy. We do not want to put forth effort. There can be no concentration. So at such times, we have to incite ourselves or incite our mind so that we put forth effort and we get concentration. When mind is too lax, then we should cultivate faith, effort, and also understanding so that the mind can function properly and be on the object. Sometimes we have to restrain our mind because we are too anxious or too eager to achieve something. So we put more effort than is needed and we get agitated, restless. At such a time we have to restrain our mind and try to develop, cultivate calmness and cultivate concentration. So sometimes mind has to be encouraged and sometimes it has to be restrained or discouraged so that the faculties got even and the concentration becomes possible. Sometimes we are depressed. We cannot concentrate on the object. We are always distracted. And so we are distressed or depressed. We are sad. At such time we have to gladden our minds, make our minds glad by thinking of the teacher, by thinking of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, or by thinking of one's birth, old age, disease, death and these things, so that our minds become gladdened and we want to practice meditation. So gladdening of one's mind is also one of the ways by which to cultivate concentration. The seventh one is regarding mind without interfering. That means not to interfere with the meditating mind when everything is going fine. Like when you drive a carriage, say, drawn by 4 horses or 6 horses, and when the horses are just going evenly, you don't have to do anything. You must not drive one horse to run faster or something like that. you will disturb the balance if you do that. So in the same way, when meditation is running good, running fine, then just regard or just observe or just look at it without interfering. That means just let it go by itself. Do not put forth more effort or do not make less effort, just the right amount of effort going, whose mind are collected. If we associate with such people, then we will get something of their nature, and we will also have concentration. So avoiding association with people whose mind are not collected and associating with people whose mind are collected, these two things are conducive to gaining concentration. The next one is reflections on jhanas and vimokkha's, reflections on the absorptions and deliverances. That is out of the question these days. When we have jhanas and vimokkha's, then we have concentration. But reflecting on these jhanas and the deliverances can make us have more concentration. And the last one is inclination towards development of concentration. This is important. That means whatever you do, direct your mind to gain concentration. Let your mind be bent on concentration, for getting concentration. Inclination towards, bending towards concentration will make our minds ready for concentration. It is like conditioning our minds to concentration. Always think of concentration, always think of ways and means to get concentration, and always think of getting concentration, and this will make our minds inclined towards concentration. And so when we sit down and meditate, concentration will come to us easily. preconditioning one's mind to concentration. So when our minds are always directed towards gaining concentration, we can develop concentration. These are the ways by which we can develop and we can cultivate concentrative power of our mind. Without the concentration, we cannot hope to see the true nature of things, and we cannot hope to penetrate into the nature of things. We cannot hope to see the arising and disappearing of things, and we cannot hope to see the impermanent nature, suffering nature, and insubstantial nature of things. In the verse I just read from Dhammavada, it was said that there is no concentration for one who has no wisdom, and there is no wisdom for one who has no concentration. Now, concentration is a prerequisite for wisdom or a penetrating knowledge. When mind is concentrated, mind can penetrate into the nature of things, and the realization or the seeing of the nature of these things will come to you, and you don't have to make efforts to let the understanding or penetration come to you. And to this end, we should strive when we practice meditation. So the first thing to aim at the beginning of meditation is to get concentration. And in order to get concentration, when we are sitting, when we are really meditating, we need to have effort, and we need to apply mindfulness to the object. If we can, we need to keep our mind on one and the same object for a long time. When you practice samatha meditation, you will keep your mind on one and the same object to the exclusion of other objects. You give the undivided attention to that object and ignore all other things. But when you practice vipassana meditation, you keep on the chosen object as much as you can, and also you make yourself aware of other distractions, other things that come to you through the sense doors, through the 5 sense doors and through the mind. Because in vipassana, we cannot afford to let anything go without being mindful of it, without noticing it. Because when we practice vipassana meditation, we are trying to get rid of clinging, we are trying to get rid of grasping to things. If we do not observe, if we do not make ourselves mindful, if we do not watch whatever comes to us, whatever is presented to us, we may grasp at these objects, we may cling to these objects. And when there is clinging or grasping, there is what we call karma formations, that is, the good and bad actions. And when there are good and bad actions, there are the results of these good and bad actions in the form of rebirth in the future. So in order to avoid rebirth in the future, because rebirth means suffering, we need to avoid having karma formations. And in order to avoid karma formations, we need to avoid clinging or grasping. And in order to avoid clinging or grasping to things, we need to be mindful. Since there are hundreds of things that are presented to us, and we are not to cling to them, we have to make notes of them, we have to observe them, we have to watch them, even though they are not the primary object of vipassana meditation. So in vipassana meditation, everything becomes the object. Everything is the object. Everything that is presented at the present moment is the object. And every object that is presented to the mind, to the sense doors and mind, should be observed, should be watched, so that we do not grasp at this object. When we look at it, when we observe it, we know the nature of it. We know that it comes and it goes away. It appears and it disappears. So we know When we watch our thoughts, we know one thought comes and it goes away, it disappears, and another thought comes and then it also disappears, and so on. So at almost at every moment, thoughts come and go, come and go, come and go, showing that everything is impermanent. That is why we have to be observant of everything that is presented to us, not only the chosen meditational object, such as the breath or the movements of the abdomen. This is the difference between samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. We can practice samatha meditation and vipassana meditation on the breath. When we keep on the breath only, to the exclusion of all other things, then we practice in a samatha way. But when we keep our minds on the breath, and also we are observant of other distractions, other things, then we are practicing vipassana meditation. So this is the difference between samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. One and the same object can be the object of samatha meditation and vipassana meditation, but the technique is different. And samatha meditation can lead you to the gaining of concentration and to gaining of jhanas or absorptions and so on, even to gaining the supernormal powers. But vipassana meditation will not lead you to gaining jhanas and the supernormal powers, but it will lead you to see things as they are, to see the true nature of things, and to get rid of mental defilements, to get rid of greed, hatred, delusion, and so on, so that they do not come to you again in the future. So now, while we are practicing vipassana meditation, we will try to keep our mind on the meditation object as much as we can, and if and when the distractions come to us, we will also keep watch. We will also keep ourselves mindful of these distractions too. So in this way, we try to keep ourselves from grasping at these objects. And when there is no grasping, there will be no karma formations, and when there are no karma formations, there will be no results of these in the form of future rebirths. So concentration. Every day, almost every moment, people have concentration of one kind or another. When you are doing daily chores and you are working, even when you are talking, you need a sort of concentration. And so when you practice meditation, you just need to channel the concentration you are used to meditation, to the object of meditation. It is not very different, or it is not far away from you, since you have been doing concentration all your life. So you just turn the concentration you are used to the observation of the meditational object. In that way, you will be able to get concentration easily. When you get concentration easily, then the penetration into the nature of things will just come to you. And concentrating on things that are pleasant, concentrating on things that produce joy or calmness in your mind can do a lot to your health. So from whatever point you look at, concentration is good. Concentration is beneficial to people. Concentration can help us a lot in keeping ourselves healthy, and also in developing our minds so that we can accept things, good and bad things, without much agitation, so that we can have equanimity towards things, so that we can one day get rid of